Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. Game 1 of the ALCS just wrapped up. The Rangers beat the Astros 2-0 in Minute Maid Park to start off the series. And we're going to break it down, just do a little bit of a recap and tell everybody what happened and what we think about the series now moving forward, now that the Rangers took the first game. My name is Lewis. That is Normal Dog, otherwise known as Alex. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, what a game. When you talk about it, a absolute nail biter. Obviously, like you said, the Rangers did wind up squeaking this one out, took it out, 2-0. What a game to begin with. I mean, you look at obviously what I think is the story of the game being, well, one of the major stories of the game being Jordan Montgomery's performance. I mean, we talked about it. I believe I specifically mentioned that if the Rangers wanted to have a chance, they needed their starters to go deep into games and put up big numbers in terms of making the other team not put up big numbers. And that's exactly what Jordan Montgomery did in this game. He went 6 1/3 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts and just 1 walk. He struck out Yordan Alvarez 3 times, which I think was an insanely important part of that performance. And I mean, not to discredit Justin Verlander, but Jordan Montgomery was the better starter tonight in terms of, giving up runs.
Yeah. Definitely want to highlight the fact that going into this postseason, everyone had known Yordan Alvarez, hey, you can't do the lefty-lefty, play the pitching advantage technically against him because he mashes left-handed pitching just as much. And guess what? Jordan Montgomery showed that it's not just it's not just because he's a lefty. It's because Jordan Montgomery figured out his weakness. I mean, pounding him and being able to locate those fastballs really inside up by his hands, not giving him any time to turn on it, and then throwing those sliders and breaking balls really far away, like almost in the other batter's box, really kept Jordan on his toes. And between Jordan Montgomery throwing pitches like that and getting some good calls from the umpires, I think it's fair to say that Jordan Montgomery really handled business tonight. Like, he was amazing. So really, just hats off to him. Definitely. I mean, if you want to do like a player of the game thing, Jordan Montgomery has to be the first one.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's hard to discredit. I mean, we talked so much about this Astros lineup and just how dominant it could be, and then Jordan Montgomery makes us look like idiots by making the Astros lineup look silly out there. His curveball was really working. He was pounding curveballs low in the zone and even just low outside of the zone, really just working for him tonight. And yeah, it was very impressive. And honestly, there's one more big moment in this game that I wanted to talk about. Well, I guess we should probably talk about the scoring as well. Jonah Heim, single in the second, scored a run. So that was one of the Rangers' 2 runs. And then the second run from the Rangers came off the bat of Leody Taveras, who took Justin Verlander deep in the 5th inning. Leody Taveras, the number 9 hitter for the Rangers, went 2 for 2 with a walk and a solo shot tonight. So Verlander, while he only gave up 2 runs, he let the bottom of the lineup get hits off of him. And we said it beforehand. Verlander would have been successful if he didn't let the bottom of the lineup do
damage
this to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because we said, he's obviously going to be focused on those first 4 guys in the lineup, Semien, Seager, Mitch Garver, and Aroldis Garcia, and he shut them down. Only Corey Seager got a hit out of those first 4 guys in the lineup. And even then, Seager went 1 for 4. So it's not like he shut them down. But then the bottom of the lineup, I mean, Evan Carter doubled off him. He also made a spectacular play that we'll talk about. But Jonah Heim with that RBI single like we talked about. And then Josh Jung got a hit, and Leody Taveras had himself a game in Game 1. So I think Verlander, underestimated the bottom of the Rangers lineup.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The other big thing that you keep referencing, I believe, is the Jose Altuve mistake on the base path.
I mean, not even necessarily the mistake from Altuve. I mean, they started off the eighth inning, obviously down by two. They started off the eighth inning, and they didn't bring in Chapman to face Altuve, and I think that was a big thing. We talked about it. Will we get to see that Chapman Altuve matchup? And I think today signified the answer is no. We will not because Bruce Bochy will be avoiding it at all costs.
Yeah, it's a matchup you have to avoid when you consider that Chapman historically throughout his entire career has about a 7.5 ERA in Minute Maid Park, including the postseason. So we already know that statistically, the numbers aren't really on his side. And then to pitch to a guy that is time in and time out, really let him have it and has hit some of the craziest, most game changing, most franchise altering home runs off of him is just not going to happen. Like, they will do everything in their power. I think that there might be a point in this series if Chapman gets into a jam and Altuve is coming up, it does not matter the situation. They will bring in someone else. Like, there is no world in which Chapman is going to face Jose Altuve.
Yeah, I mean, the only world I could see is if he comes in at the start of an inning and he has to face three batters, or if he comes in with two outs and can't get two outs before he has to face Altuve, or can't get the last out until he has to face Altuve, like something where like they literally have no choice but to keep him in with that three batter minimum rule. And then obviously what led to that, Jose Altuve walks to lead off the eighth inning, and that brings up Alex Bregman, and they bring in Chapman to face Bregman, and Bregman absolutely crushes a slider. Murdered
it.
To right center field. But as we all know, right center field at Minute Maid Park is pretty deep, and the wall is pretty high.
Left center.
Left center field. The wall is pretty deep and pretty high next to the Crawford boxes. And Evan Carter makes this amazing jumping play at the wall, prevents the hit, and that is where, like we said, that Jose Altuve base running mistake came in. Altuve was running as he should. Maybe he thought that ball got down. He was pretty much at second when Evan Carter caught the ball, and as soon as Evan Carter caught the ball, he kind of went past second base and then went back to first. And when he went past second base, you have to touch second base again before you go back to first. And Altuve forgot to touch second base, or he just missed it. And after a review, he got called out. So big base running mistake from Jose Altuve.
It definitely was.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, not to say that it cost them the game because, they still didn't really there was no hits in the inning after that, even then. But, I mean, it could have changed the game, but it's not like a definite that's why they lost type of thing,
Yeah, big momentum changer, though. I mean, you're talking about after Alex Bregman in the Astros lineup in tonight's game was Yordan Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez very much so enjoys when the pitcher has that faster windup to the plate, with having any runners on whatsoever. Yordan, the broadcast was talking about it, that Yordan has much better numbers when there's a runner on base. It does not matter where, if it's first or third, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that the pitcher is not taking his time more. So I thought that was interesting. And not having that really let Monty kind of take control of that AB really set the record straight that, hey, this is my game right now and no one's going to change that.
Yeah, I mean, I was, even when you talk about against Chapman, Yordan faced Chapman right after that double play, that Altuve mistake, and
oh yes, it was Chapman. Excuse me, I said Montgomery. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Sorry about that.
But I mean, Chapman got him to ground out, and it was a pretty soft ground out. 63.1 exit velocity, which
that's not Yordan.
Exactly, you see 63.1 off the bat of Yordan, the pitcher must have done something right. So, honestly, Chapman got out of it. Maybe it was a little luck. Technically, he got out Jose Altuve in the postseason, so good for him. That doesn't happen for him too often.
Yeah.
It warrants maybe an attaboy Altuve, but obviously,
whoa.
We all know how that turns out. But same situation, base running error. Just as long as the Rangers don't say attaboy Altuve, they're in good shape for the rest of the series. So that's really what happened in game one. If we're looking ahead to game two, tomorrow, the Rangers have Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, who has been an amazing postseason pitcher. I believe 2.50 ERA in the postseason. This season, he's, I believe, only given up 1 or 2 runs in his 2 starts. Going against Framber Valdez, who did not have a great first outing in the postseason against the Twins. What are you looking for tonight? Tomorrow afternoon, I guess, because I'm looking for another similar game to this pitching duel.
So I do agree with you. I think it is going to be a similar game in the sense of, yes, it might be a pitching duel. However, I think that if the Rangers really use their utility the right way this game in terms of their bullpen and how their lineup was orchestrated, how ready are they going to be for tomorrow? Are we going to be able to trust them for tomorrow? Who's going to be coming in the big moments? If they do have to go back to back, will there be more limited pitching in terms of pitch count, maybe, just to keep everyone safe? I don't know, but definitely, I think we both know Nathan Eovaldi in the postseason is a different monster. I'm not too worried about him starting the game for the Rangers. Not honestly, not too worried about Framber Valdez either. We had one bad start against the Twins. I believe he's a professional enough and has had the big moment plenty of times to know that he's better than that and he can rebound, and we'll see him do that. It's going to come down to, will the Rangers bullpen continue what they just did tonight, or will the limits of back-to-backs really eat away at them to the point where, hey, this game might be closer than we want it to be, or hey, we might need to really pick up the offense. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, and again, I think, like, I hate to say it, but I think a lot of game two relies on Nathan Eovaldi. Because like you said, Framber Valdez, yes, one bad start in the playoffs. Me too, I'm not really too worried. I don't exactly know how he fully matches up against the Rangers, meaning like how he faced them like in the regular season. But again, the Rangers are going to need Eovaldi to go deep into the game so that their bullpen doesn't have to pitch get too many outs, rather. I think they're looking for at least 6 innings from every single starter they're getting going in this series. So I think Eovaldi's no exception to that. And
just imagine. I was thinking about this as the game was ending. Just imagine if Jacob deGrom was starting tomorrow and Eovaldi was like 3. Oh my God.
Great. That would be crazy. They got Max Scherzer. At least they have Max Scherzer back, so they do have a pretty powerhouse pitcher going. So that's a good sign.
I'm worried. I'm worried about the Rangers bullpen. I think that's the only thing as of right now that worries me about this team, just because if they did use all their utility to win game one, how much of that will be available for game two? We'll have to wait and see. I believe first pitch is 3:45 tomorrow or today as of the posting of this.
Well, it's at 4:45, I believe. But the good thing about the bullpen usage tonight is that it doesn't really matter because they just had a week off or like a little
they had
less
time,
maybe.
but
Their bullpen's well rested. I think Leclerc would probably go in game two still if they're in a save situation. Depending on the situation, Chapman. Not to mention they still have Will Smith, who didn't pitch tonight. Overall, I think this Rangers bullpen is rested, and I think that's a good sign for them going forward. And I see no reason why they can't keep it up. They shut down the Astros tonight. They didn't allow a single hit in their 2 2/3 innings against them. So we'll see how it turns out tomorrow. And for game one, that's all I got. I think I'm ready to wrap this up if you are.
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap it up. Great first game. Let's go baseball. Let's look forward to tomorrow and see what else is brewing up in the world of baseball. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
I agree. I think that's it for this episode. If you liked, make sure to like, and subscribe, and follow, and share. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.